And now to talk more about Cameroon, we go straight into details of our second leading story. Yves Le Drian, the head of the French diplomacy, is visiting Cameroon for 2 days. The visit of the French Minister of Foreign Affairs comes after the one-on-one meeting on the 10th of October between the Cameroonian head of state and his French counterpart, President Emmanuel Macron, in Lyon on the sidelines of the World's AIDS Fund conference. Now, beyond the aspects of economic cooperation and the fight against terrorism, what political connotation does this visit portend for Cameroon?
So we have Lambert Ngouafou live from Douala to give us more here on Africanews. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me. So now the head of French diplomacy, Jean-Yves Le Drian, is visiting Cameroon for 2 days. What can we learn from his meeting with the head of state? So the visit of Jean-Yves Le Drian follows the head-to-head visit of 10 October between Cameroon's head of state, Biya, and French President Emmanuel Macron in Lyon on the sidelines of the conference to reconstitute the World AIDS Fund. The meeting between the two hosts focused on the Grand National Dialogue held in Cameroon 2 weeks ago, and the French minister told the press that he had come to encourage the efforts made by the head of state, as well as to ease the political climate. He also noted that France is ready to provide its expertise in the implementation of the reforms agreed during this dialogue, particularly with regard to decentralization of the state, as requested by the participants in that dialogue. And so the minister also stated that he had come to relaunch cooperation between the two states, which he said should be felt in the fields of security, energy, and infrastructure.
Lambert, is this visit a sign of warming relations between France and Cameroon, which appeared to have simmered after the arrest of President Paul Biya's main opponent, Maurice Kamto, who's in fact still contesting the re-election of President Biya in the 2018 elections? So is this a sign of warming relations between France and Cameroon?
So there is no doubt that this visit is a sign of the warming relations between the two states, particularly with the unrest of about 100 opponents who were contesting the Paul Biya election in 2018, including Maurice Kamto, who arrived second during that presidential election. So France had expressed concern about their imprisonment, as well as welcomed his release a few weeks ago. As well as that entourage of Minister Yves Le Drian, it was stated that this visit is intended to encourage, and quote, the positive developments in the country at political level. And during his stay in Cameroon, the French minister could meet Cameroon political leaders, as well as members of civil society. So you've just mentioned that national dialogue and the relaxation of the tensions that were there. So what are some of the issues that made the minister visit Cameroon? Well, we can speak of some of the issues at stake during the visit. It was worth mentioning the economy as well as security. The visit comes at a time when the Africa-Russia summit is taking place, and Paul Biya, instead of going, preferred to stay in the country to welcome this French minister, which shows the importance that the head of state has attached to the cooperation between Cameroon and France. Economic cooperation will be revisited between President Paul Biya and Yves Le Drian. A meeting between the minister and the French and Cameroon business community is even planned for this Thursday in Douala. In relation to security, France supports Cameroon in the fight against Boko Haram in the far north, and the need for France to increase its aid in military equipment cannot be ruled out. As is likely, the French head of diplomacy will call on the Cameroonian head of state to swiftly implement the recommendations of that national dialogue to restore peace in the English-speaking regions of the Northwest and the Southwest.
Lambert Ngouafou, merci à vous.
Lambert Ngouafou, thank you very much for responding to our questions this morning.